country in the world for viewership, and they can switch on pay-per-view in any country in the world as the occasions get bigger. This fight will be pay-per-view in New Zealand. It'll also be made available to, I think, probably 150 countries around the world. Massive profile for David Nyika, massive profile for Auckland, for New Zealand. So good for New Zealand, good for boxing. So we're excited to be back and doing this. We're going to treat this like a nation-building campaign, kind of like when Team New Zealand got the Red Sox going. We want to invite the New Zealand public to get on board and behind David Nyika, and everyone who ever buys a ticket or buys a pay-per-view, we're very grateful to, especially if there's a lot of theft going on and piracy and so on. That doesn't help. But everyone who contributed to this journey, it's a wonderful thing. So to finish, I'd like to thank the key sponsors. Obviously, the Nika Doctor, they're invaluable. They're an entrepreneurial business started by Matthew Pringle. They're not, the business story is not well known, but they're a global brand, a massive export success for New Zealand with very high-end Manuka nutritional products. They're in multiple markets, so perfect partner for David Nyika with global ambitions. We also have DAZN as our broadcast partner, Auckland City Council via Auckland Unlimited, TAB, Sky City, we're here today at Sky City, GMS, which is Global Metal Solutions, another amazing New Zealand entrepreneurial success story, and there'll be more to come about them, but they're Kiwi entrepreneurs who've built a stunning business. Interseed Security Group, NZME with Radio Hierarchy and Flavour and the brands there, and then Lumo Digital Outdoor Advertising. So very, very grateful to those partners. Frankly, without them, none of this will be happening. I think that's enough for me for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. For a lot of you here who don't know too much about Noel Thornbury, who is going to guide David to the world title, so allow me to give you a little bit of a history lesson. His family goes back many, many years in boxing. His brothers fought for 3 world titles, including fighting Joe Calzaghe, one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Noel was the brains and the trainer behind Marcelino Marsoe, winning his world title in 2004. But more familiar and where we got involved with Noel is that there was a guy called Denis Boytsov who in 2013 became the mandatory world challenger to Vladimir Klitschko. He took a warm-up fight to fight Klitschko, and he took on a guy called Alex Leapai, who Noel trained. And Alex Leapai was a truck driver from Queensland, and he won an undisputed decision and took that mandatory challenge away from Boytsov, and Alex Leapai challenged Vladimir Klitschko for the heavyweight world title in Germany in 2014. That was the first time all of us worked together. It was in Germany for that world title fight. We watched how Vladimir Klitschko trained, we watched his mind games, we watched so much of what the Klitschkos did, and we took it and helped it with Joseph. But more importantly, Noel has been with Duco for 10 years, and he has got a wealth of experience, and he's got a stable of trainers, and he's been training with David Nyika for 2 years. He is the real deal. He's an Australian who wants a Kiwi to win. Noel, could you talk to us about the cruiserweight division, where it is at the moment, and what the road to the title looks like for you?
Okay, thanks very much, Craig. First of all, it's great to be here in New Zealand. It's great to be working with Duco Events, Joseph Parker, and I won't even attempt to thank all the sponsors, just way too many, and I'm not as familiar as what David is. But look, when I watched the Olympic Games just a couple of years ago, I seen 2 guys from this part of the world. So when you're abroad or whatever, you see Australians and you see New Zealanders, and you think to yourself, okay, which one of these guys is the exceptional one? Well, I seen David Nyika, and there was a young fellow from Australia as well. Paulo Cuso was very good, but David sort of stood head and shoulders above everybody else, in my opinion, to what I've seen. And so as it came about, I was approached by David Higgins at a later date to possibly work with David Nyika, leading into the Haney versus Kambosos boxing event, which is the second biggest boxing event in the history of Australian boxing as well. I think it was 42,000. Duco Events was also part of that, and Duco Events was pretty much the guys that established the fact that that bout would be staged in Australia. So David came along, and we then had the opportunity to fight a month later on the Gold Coast when the current world champion Jai Opateo challenged Maurice Britis for the world championship. Well, David fought a guy named Louis Masters on that card, and then he said, "You know what? I might stay on." I think, "What do you think?" And I said, "Mate, I'd love that." I said, because like not only is he one of the most talented boxers that I've seen, that are probably the most talented boxer that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, but he's also one of the hardest workers, and the talent without the hard work just isn't going to work. So, but he's got both, and he's great to work with, and very, very proud to be sitting here today and saying that we sort of see that that David can emulate what Joseph Parker's done previous to him and bring another world championship here to New Zealand, and then who knows what might happen after that if we get the opportunity to move up to the heavyweight division. But we'll just first things first, and September 14th is a extremely important day in all of our careers as promoters, trainers, managers, boxers. So I'd just like to thank everybody for coming along and supporting us, and we hope to bring the World Championship back to New Zealand.
Noel, could you talk to me about the cruiserweight division, educate us on what it looks like at the moment? Clearly, I mentioned before, Alexander Usyk, David Haye, Evander Holyfield all started there. In the case of Holyfield and Usyk, they cleared out the division before going to the heavyweight. That's a long way off at this stage, but who's the world champion? Where do you see this career going for David?
Look, the top cruiserweight in the world of the champions is Chris Bellum-Smith, who Dave knows well, and Jai Opateo. The two that sort of stand out to me at this stage is Gilberto Ramirez from Mexico, who's got the WBA championship. But look, I see David beating all of those guys right now. However, you would be rushing. He's every bit as good as any one of those guys. The only thing between David and these guys is the rounds. I want to hear David hear the bell for round 7, round 8, round 9, round 10, round 11. And once David's done that, I think he can beat every person that I just mentioned. I will acknowledge that the best of all the champions at this point in time is Jai Opateo, and that sets the clash. That sets the stage for a massive trans-Tasman clash between an Aussie and a Kiwi for the number one position in the cruiserweight division worldwide. Jai's talking about maybe even moving up to heavyweight. Whether he does or he doesn't, who knows what happens, but I think sometime in the next 12, 18 months, maybe even 24 months, we'll see David in the ring with one of the 4 people that I've just mentioned.
All the belts over there are the belts that Joseph has won with Duco, and when we started Joseph's career, the idea was that we'd win a regional bout and keep on winning regional bouts until we got to that one right in the middle, which is the world heavyweight title we won against Andy Ruiz. So I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn and saying that will be the goal again, to win the regional belts, to get to a position to win the world title. Joseph, when we were promoting the Andy Ruiz world title fight in 2016, I remember being in Las Vegas, and we were trying to get some content for your world title fight. It was Kovalev versus Ward. It was a super fight, all the media around the world. And I remember getting stuff from Dan Raphael, who's the top boxing journalist in the world, Roy Jones Jr., Thomas Hauser, who's Muhammad Ali's biographer. I remember doing all these interviews, and the last one I remember doing was with Lennox Lewis. And Lennox, at the time, really didn't know too much about Joseph. And I didn't use the interview and put it out there. And then 2-3 weeks ago, seeing the broadcast on DAZN and seeing Lennox Lewis and Joseph Parker hosting the coverage with with the Tyson Fury fight, and Lennox Lewis turning to Joseph and asking his opinion and the like. We genuinely today have a global superstar sitting down here, and what he's done is absolutely phenomenal. Joseph, take it back to the beginning when you started at Duco, and remind yourself of what it was like and how you can use that information now as a promoter to help David Nyika on the road to the title.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I think between David, Noel, and Craig, I think we've covered everything. So, you know what? It's great to be here today. Thankful for the opportunity to co-promote this fight with David and Noel. And we have such a talent here in front of us in David Nyika. Like Craig mentioned before, he's achieved a lot as an amateur, just a little bit more than I did. And being a bronze medalist at the Olympics, two-time gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games, David's started his professional career very well, got some good wins, and now he's under the care of Noel Thornbury, who's been there and done that before. My journey started a long time ago with Duco Events. I signed a 6-year contract with David Higgins, and David, along the way, taught me a lot about the business side of boxing. Sponsorship, ticketing, venues, and what's involved in promoting a fighter and taking them from here to the top. Now I have the opportunity to dive into a bit more and learn about the business, and I'm very excited for the opportunity to be promoting David Nyika to the world. David has great work ethic, he's got good height, got good reach, abs that I've always wanted. He looks good, speaks very well, and but the thing is he trains very, very hard, and he takes his training very seriously. I think under the care of Noel Thornbury and David Higgins and myself backing him, I think we're going to go all the way to the top. And I'm very excited about this.
Back in the day when we were at the start and you were like taking on baby, remember you called Baby Joseph by Francois Botha and the like, we went through quite an interesting period. What experience from those early days can you pass on to David Nyika now to fast track him, whereas for you, it was a learning process, particularly in the media and dealing with all the interest and the like?
I feel like with David Nyika and the experience he has with the amateur pedigree that he holds, but also the wins he has under his belt by having someone like Noel Thornbury, like you said, has taken fighters to fight for the championship of the world. I feel like he's already on his way. He doesn't really need that advice, but he does maybe need advice, maybe dress. Oh, listen, his dress is a little bit. I don't know. There's no advice. He's
dressed just like you, man.
Everything's on track for him, and now it's just up to David Nyika to put in the work and to really show what he can do. And that's starting off in the 14th of September here in New Zealand. There hasn't been a big show here in New Zealand for a while, and everyone's going to be very happy and excited and buzzing to have him back here fighting on home soil.
And we're going to be announcing the card in coming weeks, celebrity fights, a couple of familiar names as well. We're still to announce an opponent, but it will be a tough opponent for David, because with Joseph, we always gave him tough opponents. David Higgins never wanted a patsy opponent that would just fashion the card. That's the reason why he got to the world title in 22 fights. He was fighting tough opponents right from the outset. David Nyika, welcome to the road to the title. How do you feel about all this and this big press conference all for you?
First of all, I'd like to say morena to everybody. Thank you all for being here. This is a huge opportunity. I'd be remiss to not thank Duco for putting all of this together. I know they've put in 18 plus months of hard work to get this to where it is now, but this is just the start. I'd also like to thank all the sponsors for getting behind myself. I feel like I've been saying a few times today, I'm starting to feel like a little bit of imposter syndrome creeping in, we have so many amazing people and companies backing us today, and so I feel incredibly blessed to be in this position. Of course, Noel Thornbury, he's taken me under his wing, and I feel like I've grown so much as a fighter in the last 2 years that I've had in Queensland. But it's just amazing to be back here and to see all these familiar faces. So I feel incredibly blessed, and this is an opportunity for not just myself to benefit and to gain, but broadcasting on a platform like DAZN, which is global. This fight will come with a subscription abroad and all around the globe. So all the eyes are going to be on Auckland City, on Tamaki Makaurau. So I think it's really, really important to recognise the impact that this is going to have, not only on my career as myself, as David Nyika, but on on the way of life here. This is an exciting event, and we're going to keep putting these shows on. Every opportunity I have, I'd love to come back here and fight. It's been 3.5 years since I last fought in New Zealand on Joe's undercard. That was my pro debut, and I remember in the change room, it was 5 minutes before I walked out, big siren went off all throughout the building. Everybody's phones were these alarms going off, alerts. COVID was back. It was one of the first times we managed to get out of the house and put on a big show, and it was Joseph and it was me. So everybody had to go straight home after that event. I didn't get to enjoy it with my friends, with my family, but this is an opportunity to bring big time boxing back to New Zealand. So huge opportunity for me. My job is to train and to be a Spartan, to be a monster in the gym, because I'm here for your entertainment, but I'm also here for to live out my own narrative, to create a story, and to have you guys a part of it, and to have the likes of Joseph co-promoting this. This feels like a big deal, man. This feels really, really special. So once again, thank you all for being here. I can't wait to come back and put on a show for you guys. I think I'm going to be coming back quite often over the next few weeks to announce my opponent, the undercard, and I think we're gonna have a great night. And this time we're gonna all go out and have a beer together afterwards. So I really look forward to seeing you guys on the night. And thanks for being here. Cheers.
So David Nyika is 28 years old. He's got a record of 9-0 with an 88% KO record. David, your association with Joseph actually goes back quite a way. I remember we went down to Hamilton and we did a promotional thing with you in 2014. So your association with Joseph is actually further back than 2021. Can you give us an idea of how long you've known Joseph? Give us an idea as well of promotional stuff we did with Joseph and what you saw from there and what you're sort of expecting from here on in.
Yeah, I really didn't know Joseph from a bar of soap in 2014. And I've grown to love him as a brother, as a friend, as a mentor. We've all of these opportunities have arisen over the last 3 years of my professional career. I'd say most of them, if not all of them, have been sourced, and those opportunities that have been created through my association with Duco and with Joseph Parker. I got to go and train with Tyson Fury for 6 months in Morecambe, and spent time with some incredible people. So I've grown to love Joseph. I've tried to poke holes in his person. I've tried to figure out, why is this guy so nice? Why has this guy been such a brother to me? And
because I'm taller.
It dawned on me, he cares, and so this is for me an opportunity to give back and to do us all proud, because I think this team that you see in front of you is tried and tested. Like you said, Craig, Dave Higgins has taken 2 fighters, and there's only 2 fighters to world titles. Noel Thornberry has taken 3 out of a handful of fighters to a world title fight, if not a world title. All that's left to do is to perform and to keep performing, and to I feel like I've got the right team behind me to slingshot me into the galaxy, man. We're gonna go all the way. This is what we're here for, But I really appreciate the relationship that I've developed with Duco, with Joseph. This is huge, man. It's a big deal.
You can have all the ability in the world as a fighter, but it's temperament at the end of the day. And that was the one thing with Joseph from the start, temperament. I think you've seen that with David Nyika today. Noel, could you talk about David's temperament? Because clearly we're going to put his profile on fire rockets now. And he's going to be more seen than ever before. He's going to become a household, if he's not a household name with the boxing fan, the casual fan is going to know who he is very, very quickly. And his temperament today, he calls himself the nice guy, but the temperament behind closed doors is where it's going to get him to the world title. Tell me about temperament and the fighters that you've seen previously and what he's got that others don't.
Well, when I first met David, and I knew that his nickname was the nice guy and so forth, so I picked David up down at the airport. He'd come back. Actually, there's a little bit more of a story there. I rang David Higgins, and I knew David Nyika was coming over to train with us for a fight down in Melbourne. And I rang David Higgins on I think it might have been a Tuesday night, and I said, "When's David Nyika getting here? We've only got about 5 weeks before this fight." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, Noel, he's on the plane at the moment. He'll be there tomorrow morning." So I said, "Oh, right, okay." So I've gone down to the airport, I picked David up, and we drove back into Gatton town. And Gatton's a small country town, it's an agricultural town. And so we're driving in, and Dave said, "Gee, yeah, wow, I like this is beautiful, what a nice town." And I thought, I think this guy's only told me what I want to hear, it's a nice little town. And so anyway, then it was a little bit like what David just said before about Joseph. I sort of was sitting there trying to think, okay, he can't be this nice all the time. 2 years down the track, sure enough, he's like that all day, every day. And he's just got that nice temperament, he's always happy, he's always got a smile on his face, and he's very polite to people. We're driving down the road one day in Gatton, and there was these couple of guys standing on the side of the road, and there was a guy mowing the lawn for him, and they're all watching him mow the lawn. And Jan, my wife, said, "That's David." And I said, "No, it's not David, he's right up the road, he lives up the road." No, she said, no, that's him. So anyway, he's seen these guys struggling to mow their lawn, so he's pulled up and said, "Wait there, guys," and he's dripping his ride-on mower all the way back down the road and mowed their lawn for them. So, but yeah, so the nice guy's very apt. But anyway, and like obviously I thought, how's that going to translate into the ring? So, but when he's in the ring, he's a competitor. His competitive nature takes over 100%, and he's got that mongrel in him that he needs to have, and you actually do need to have it. And I'd say even when he fought Lou Masters, and Lou Masters ran out and tried to surprise Dave early on, and David said, "Yeah, okay, I'm going to fix this guy." But anyway, when he did, he finished the guy, and he finished him really, really well. Probably got a little bit too excited and gave him one when he's down on one knee, and I thought, okay, he's the nice guy's a bit of a prick. Yeah, he's got the right temperament to go all the way to the World Cruiserweight Championship, no doubt in my mind.
David Higgins, do you see the same temperament with David Nyika and Joseph Parker?
Yeah, I do actually. Having been around boxing now for 15 years, it's quite interesting to watch boxers in the dressing room before they do the ring walk, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. Some of them are biting their nails, some of them are clenching their jaw, some are meditating, some are angry, telling everyone to F off out of their space, and then you've got Joseph Parker who's relaxed and grinning ear to ear, listening to music. Cool as a cucumber, it's like his happy place, it's bizarre, like I don't understand it. But Nika's very similar, like they were meant for this, and just as I would hate the idea of walking that ring walk to fight in front of the world on TV, they love it and are good at it, and I see a very similar temperament. So it's a match made in heaven up here today, and watch this space. I reckon within 2.5 years, Cruiserweight World title and a New Zealand first will be achieved.
All right, I'm going to open up to questions now. Carlene has the microphone. If anyone wants a question, please raise your hand. And it's just so the live stream people can hear. Andrew Saville, TVNZ.
Craig's asked most of the, can you hear me? Craig's asked most of the questions, but David, it's been a while since you've promoted the boxing event. Why get back into boxing promotion? You're either bored or you're a masochist.
Well, history shows we're good at it. But there is other exciting stuff we're doing. But it's good people really is the answer. Like, I've got a close bond with the people up here today. They're good people, and they want to do this, so I want to do this. It's like a team really, and it's exciting, to make some history, to try and do something that's never been done, and then you've got good people around you. It just happens.
Have you missed winding up other boxing promoters and
well, hopefully I don't need to. Like the promotion, if the boxers are promoting the fight, the promoters don't need to go at it. But sometimes you know, with Eddie Hearn, that was necessary.
Joe, to you, why get into the promotion game?
I've always had an interest in boxing and what's involved, and I think doing it firsthand now with David Higgins, David is the best promoter on this side of the world, and he's shown that with the events he's put on, and to be a part of it, not only to learn the business, but to see another fighter, David Nyika, make it to the top. I just want to be a part of the journey. I want to be a part of it, and it's exciting. Like when I'm not fighting, I don't have a fight locked in yet. I'm still training every day, but there's something else I can look forward to, and that's promoting the best cruiserweight in the world.
And one for David, just quickly. What does it mean today to be the face on the poster?
Oh, it's bizarre. Yeah, I walked in here and it took me a second to realise that it was my face on the poster. It's never been me before, so yeah, bizarre is probably the best word because you know, like Noel said, I live in a small rural country town now, and I keep to myself. I tend to my chickens and my lawns, and I'm a caretaker at apartments part time. So coming over here and being the centre of attention is bizarre. It's unreal. It's cool. It's overwhelming, but this is what I'm destined for. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Other questions?
Anyone else?
Looks like we covered it off. So what we are going to do is we are going to conclude the press conference now. We're going to take some photos through the lead of Andrew Cornaga, and we will do that. Then we'll do some limited one-on-ones. I want to again thank the Nika Doctor, especially as our naming rights sponsor, for jumping on David Nyika and the vision of David Higgins for this road to the title. We don't get anywhere without sponsors, and we appreciate you very much, Nika Doctor, for what you are doing for boxing and bringing boxing back to New Zealand. It's going to be exciting. If you were there 10 years ago when we launched Joseph with Francois Botha and Brian Minto and Jason Pettaway and all those guys, it's going to be a hell of a ride. If that's anything to go by, all of us 10 years more experience, we know what we're doing, and this is going to be exciting. And it's going to be a great event, and we look forward to seeing you again at another press conference very shortly to announce the opponent, and we have a number of major surprises on the undercard as well. Thank you for attending today, and we'll now break off for photos.
I'll tell you what. If we take your belts that Duco won one of these belts, then we'll do the second one. Yeah, cool. No, you hold on those because you're
Okay, alright, here we go again, guys. That's good.
Someone.
Alright, everyone. Great. Thank you. Good. Oh, there we go. They just put the first one on there. Yeah. Very good. Alright, thank you, gentlemen.
So what we're going to do is drop this. We're going to drop the belts, and we're going to have David hold your belt.
Just step forward, have a look. Yes, there we go, good. Just coming on the side here. Yeah, just Would you guys like to turn that way? Was that David? Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Here we go. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you. Thanks, Ed. Cheers.
Dave, are you ready for your first interview? Yeah, okay. Who's that?
I can drink some. I can hold it. Who is the greatest Jedi of all I just kind of segregated, I suppose, just there, just to
What about the whole ring connecting? Do you think that's the way to carry the people putting on
David Nyika.
Hey Josh, I'm here with Parker. You want to do a phone interview with him? Oh, you have no time? Like, I can put you on speakerphone. What do you think? Or maybe I'll put you on. Means I'm going to go next with him. Okay, so he fought. Okay, so he it goes right over here. I can't get whatever you're getting because anything you get is yeah, you can press it down if your hand gets tired, but keep it steady because you don't want sudden seconds. Keep it like studio level. Yeah. Just come over. Yeah, so just get more bring me in the picture.
How close to the ring is he? Close to the ring is contract.